Thousands of people are fleeing the Syrian city of Homs amid fears rebel fighters will soon seize the city from government control. This is all part of a recently launched lightning offensive against strongholds of President Bashar al-Assad in a civil war that's been raging now for nearly 14 years. Crystal Gomansing is in London. She is tracking the details out of the Middle East today. So let's talk about the rebels' advance, Crystal, and how people are fleeing in advance of that.
Well, the rebel group that we're talking about here is the Islamic group known as the Islamist, group known as Hayat Tahrir al-Sham. That group has been around for a number of years. It has roots in al-Qaeda, but has more recently publicly disavowed international terrorism. It is still considered a terrorist organization by the United States. This group has been moving quickly to overpower forces of Bashar al-Assad. And I want to show you a map just to give you a really good visual example of the progression towards the south and towards the capital of Syria, Damascus. They had claimed Aleppo earlier. Just on Thursday, they took over Hama. That's about 200 kilometers away from the capital, and they are moving towards Homs. And that's where we see a number of people starting to flee. They are trying to find somewhere safe to go. There is intense fighting between these rebel forces and the government regime forces. The government forces said that they actually withdrew from Hamas to give them an opportunity to reorganize and set themselves up. But, you know, even if we just look at what happened in Hama on Thursday into the late hours in the evening, there were celebrations as a statue of Bashar al-Assad's father was torn down from a square. Where these rebel forces are going in, Heather, there has actually been somewhat of a warm welcome for some of these forces. There have been cheers on the streets. Of course, it's hard to independently verify exactly how residents are feeling with these forces. But as you said, you know, this is a civil war that's really been frozen. So the advances we have been seeing, the very quick advances, taking a lot of people by surprise. Clearly, the regime forces a part of that group, but there is a clear line south, and that is a really strategic, important thing to note, because you can see them going to the south towards the capital, and they are cutting off a main transportation route from the north to the south, but also to the Mediterranean Sea. So strategy coming into play here, and they are moving quickly. They are getting closer and closer towards the city of Homs.
So strategic moves and speedy moves, Crystal, to what end? What are their ultimate goals?
Well, that is the thing here. So we did hear from one of the leaders of HTS. It was an exclusive interview with CNN. Abu Muhammad al-Jalani said that they are working very quickly. He wouldn't give too much away, but ultimately he said the goal is to overthrow the regime.
What comes after this? What's after Hama?
The course of the battle. As for the secrets of the battle, let's leave them to the unfolding events. This discipline allowed them, with God's guidance, to engage in a battle in an organized manner. The progress and execution of plans have been swift, with clear communication and adherence to commands. They stop where they should stop and withdraw where they should withdraw. The revolution has transitioned from chaos and randomness to a state of order.
So there you heard that HTS leader talking about how they've managed to pull together the different rebel forces, saying that they are working as a cohesive unit now, and that's why you're seeing this progress, the goal to ultimately overthrow the regime. The big question of why now could be the fact that many of the supporters of Assad are busy with their own conflicts, Iran, Russia specifically, but we have heard from the Syrian defense group known as the White Helmets. They say there is still shelling around Aleppo, around Hama, so that they are saying that those strikes coming from Russians and that this is a continuous problem. And in terms of the humanitarian situation, of course, because as these two groups are fighting, citizens being caught in the middle, and they are continuing to try to find safer places to go. A number of the places that are being struck are full of people who are already displaced.
Crystal Gomansing with the latest out of London. Thank you, Crystal, for this morning.
Welcome.